All right, we got to film this intro, so you can be in the shot. I'm just going to film it really quick. Yeah, you're good. Do whatever. Oh, are we going? Okay. This is like our leadership dinner for everybody in the company. So we made sure to get them the charcuterie board. We know our target audience. Because what we do is like so spread out over town, we've got the sales team that's pretty much in their cars 24/7, going and bidding jobs all day long from pretty much mid-September to December 10th. And then we got the install crews, which we have Jack and then Brandon and then Mason. So Jack is the director of operations, and he's got those two that work together with him in leadership positions. Each of them run a crew. Nat is like our operational organizational wizard. And then we've got elf number 1, which is Peter, and elf number 2, which is Stella. Basically, the idea behind tonight is just get all the leadership positions together in one room and get everybody to kind of understand exactly what we're working on and why every different department works well together. We're gonna start here. I'm gonna do like a little presentation on like goals for the year, make sure all the different departments are on the same page. Because that's like one thing that we've seen as the business has grown is like the more I stepped out of the way and the guys that are in those leadership positions actually had ownership, like the way the business just kind of skyrocketed. So that's like the big theme this year too, is like the presentation I'm presenting on before we go to dinner is called Radical Ownership, which is like obviously I think it's a Jocko thing or whatever. But the whole point is like everybody in these leadership positions needs to understand that like they're in those positions because they're equipped and qualified to make the decisions for the people under them. And so like I want to make sure everybody's on the same page, and also it's very rare that all of the departments get together at the same time, because during the season, the installers are out installing, the sales guys are going to different jobs all the time. Nat is in Seattle. We're pretty remote and spread out, so it's super important to like get the season on the right track, because as we've gotten bigger, the like baseline expenses have gotten bigger, and so there's a lot more at stake than it was 4 years ago when I was just like going in the back of a Ford Fusion with a Gorilla ladder. So we're gonna get together, fill them with a tasteful amount of booze, and then take them to a Brazilian steakhouse, and we're gonna all get together and have a good time. You guys wanna get on the couch and I'll just go through like the 6 slides, and then we can just get the work out of the way, and then we can just rage. I think it's super important for everybody now to understand, like, I wanted to get everybody together because during the season you guys never see each other. I want everybody up to speed on like how we got to this point, because I think it's important to know that like Jack of all people has seen like the difference in operation and like expectation year by year is massive. And so like if we do the same stuff that we did last year, we're gonna get the same results. And so I wanna like let you guys visualize why this number has done that every year and this number has done that every year. And so I wanna show you guys 4 years of pretty wild growth for a business that operates 2 months a year, but specifically this number this year is like, that is a whole different ballgame. Like the difference between $500,000 and $650K plus, which like full transparency, on this date last year, we were at $129,000 booked. Today, we're at $289,000 booked. So in terms of like Christmas light businesses, because we talk to the vendors, every vendor says the same thing. It's like everyone gets to like, the good ones get to 100 or 200, and then they can't grow. Because what happens is like, when you get to 200, you have a month and a half to install jobs. And so the guys that can't build systems can't scale a second, third crew. And so the reason we're able to grow is because we charge ungodly amounts for our service, but the trade-off is we also demand that money because we're so much better than everyone else. So Kyle, now that we're renewing the best year ever, what do you hear when you're out on a sales call now?
Our name carries extreme weight like it hasn't in the past, and it's wicked fun to sell with a company that has the standard set as the best in the industry, and our clients know it. So they are going to be more prone to tell all of their friends, which is just going to put more juice and more wind in our sails. So it's going to be, this year's going to be crazy.
But the trade-off is like, it's not just about charging stupidly high amounts of money. It's charging stupidly high amounts of money and then justifying why we charge super high amounts of money. And so there is no better reflection of that than when people come back the next year after giving us $4, $5, $6, $7, $8,000 to do temporary Christmas lights, and then they go, let's run it back again. this might seem like strange that I'm sharing this with the entire leadership of the company, but I think it's really important that you guys know, like, no one here is like, including myself as the owner, like, I want to take radical ownership here and just like let you guys see behind the curtain a little bit. Like Jack can attest to this. No one is taking home on a $600,000 job. No one is taking home crazy money. This doesn't change your guys' day to day, but I want you guys to like be able to feel like you're part of peeking behind the curtain a little bit. And so I rounded these numbers to make it really basic, but this is where the money goes. The second we process $500,000, right off the top, Stripe jobber gets 15K. We don't even see the money go into our bank account. It's 3%, boom, bank takes it, runs, right? So 15 grand off the top. Then payroll, a $900 payroll for a crew multiplied by 50 days or something like that. It gets crazy really fast. And so payroll is where the profit comes in. Product costs are fixed, right? Like we can't change product costs. If Kyle and Mark sell more, we have to buy more product. Marketing, $29,000 last year, all sorts of different stuff, SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, all that. And then insurance, office supplies, the U-Hauls, random stuff right there. It's like if you add all this up, we operate like a pretty standard home service business where it's 30 to 32% margins at the end of the year. It's a efficient business, but it's a lot of expenses. And so the attention to detail in all of these things is like, when you start playing in this 600, like, guys, if you do 600,000 a year, like that's a month and a half doing 300,000 in 2 months. Like that is the pace of a $3.5 million a year company. It just so happens we can only work for 2. That's a big operation. I think it's top 2% of all small businesses in the country. That's a massive operation. So there's a lot at stake, right? Like that's big boy money, it's big boy problems, it's big boy payroll, it's big boy liability. So the theme this year is radical ownership. Everybody in this room is in a leadership position, and the idea is like you're in a leadership position so that you don't have to call Jack for every single thing. So you don't have to call Kyle for every single thing. So you have to call me for every single thing. Like you are here, you are getting paid well above the going rate in the industry, and the expectation is like you own your job. Because what happened when Jack took full ownership of operations 2 years ago? We exploded and our payroll went down. So we had less payroll in 2022 for $150,000 more dollars in sales. Less payroll for $150 more in sales. Think about that. Operations explodes. We have the highest renewal rate ever. So now it's the same thing. Kyle, Mark, Carson, sales guys owning their craft, owning it. Kyle's taking a little bit more of a lead in that role. Same thing. The less we have to involve multiple employees in a problem that can be solved by one, the more attention to detail we can pay to everything else. Yeah. Good? Any questions? No. I definitely went over 10 minutes, dude. I yapped.
All good stuff.
Okay, good.
What are we looking at these things?
And
I mean, there's no comparison to
You
Jack.
know what's crazy? These were probably more expensive.
They probably were.
That was a joke.
I think Steve said it was time to rage.
This is raging on a Friday night in Christmas season. Money is raging.
Let's go. Hey! Medium rare, please. Eat it for me, then.
I mean, here's the thing.
Life is good.
They have to throw quarters
This is
into
all
this
alleged.
Fantastic. Give me 15 on 14.
It was delicious.
So there we were, minding our own business. And Steve was like, are you guys interested in eating a full cow each? I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And I completely regret all of it. Everything hurts, and I'm sweating, and I'm uncomfortable. But it was a win for the team. Thanks, Steve.
No way to better cop off a steakhouse like an Otter Pop.
I had way too much meat tonight. My guts are rearranged for sure.
Go the home.